Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Breakfast Show Trading Idea with SMARTRobie. I'm your host, Martin Wong. Now, today is the Wednesday, that's right, 17th of March, and the US Fed chairman did have a meeting last night, and it should be concluded on Thursday. So while they were waiting for a lot of the news, the US market seems to be, unsettling. What about our KLCI market? Have we seen the market able to make new high? Definitely not. So we will turn our attention to the headline that is hogging our breakfast show this morning. That's right. So let's talk about our headline this morning here, and let's see. And what we have for you this morning. This morning is the Monday. That's right. This morning is Wednesday, and we have our so-called intermediate level. So you can see on the screen itself. We'll also be looking at the new sentiment and chart setup too, and not forgetting the sector analysis, which we want to see. And I think we all know right now the property and two more sectors which is doing well. And do you know them? If you don't, just type in sector analysis and you're able to find out which is currently the hot sector. As for this morning, our KLCI still continue to be down 6 points in here, and that doesn't look very good. No doubt it is still in the blue trend zone in here, but usually you all know if there is a breakdown to the downside, then we'll see this market will able to break down to where we are. Let me just try to bring this up in here, and all right, so let me just pitch it up nicely in here. You were able to see 1602. It's just that the screen got a bit cut off, but you can also use the chart in there. Let's move on to our next news here. All right, let's switch this back. And our headline for this morning, news headline, is no other than the high income status. That's right. Now, some of you may also be, fascinated and why we country want to join this high income country soon. Now, those of you who remember during the Pakatan or even Dr. Mahathir Vision 2020, we are in 2021, we miss it. In somewhere about 8 years ago, I still remember 8 years ago, we have this market, okay, back in 2012 when Vision 2020 came in, and our market were able to sustain or not. Right? Not definitely not, because we have the Vision 2020, which supposed to achieve. We didn't achieve it. And then the previous administration came out with another Vision 2050, but it's all gone. But this time, this is from the World Group, okay? The World Bank is saying that we will achieve it or not. And definitely, we need to grow by 5% every month. That's right, 5% every month. So let's look at also, in order to grow towards the high-income nation, there is a proposal now to widen the Malaysian revenue base. All right, the Malaysian revenue base is GST. That's right, the GST is likely to be back. More importantly, is if they get another perikatan, that's definitely another term, GST be back. But on the people, I suppose it will be tough because everything you have to pay 6%. But on the government side, definitely we have seen a lot of spending in here, and revenue base is not expanding as much as it is, so they need more money from all of us. GST, everybody be prepared. Okay, what do you think? Do you like GST or not? Type it in there. Alright, and let me know if you like GST or not. Okay, so this is why we always see that this market GST, something that is will be a real challenge. All right, let's move on to our next story. Our next story is no other than Superlon. That's right. Let's look at Superlon this morning in here. And all right, Superlon. Okay, Superlon here. And they are basically what we call industrial manufacturers. Did pretty well. Profit up 63% in here. And let me just switch to a wider chart here. You can see stock chart. It's what we call a nice accumulation. Am I correct or not? Just wait for it to come out first. Right, this is the fundamental in here. Let's look at the fundamental. It pays a 3% fundamental, but let's look at the chart wise. And you can see this is what we call a nice fundamental accumulation on the left hand side. But this morning I want to share with you what I've just saw on Superlon. It is showing green pentagon, very, very nice. Okay, Superlon. Right, so on the Pentagon chart, wow, this thing up 5%, isn't it? So that's why it pays dividend to get a active chart screen that you see inside here. Let me just switch to a wider chart here. Right, and you can see here, that's the Pentagon. Real time, real price. That's right. Okay, good. So you got a hint, right, on Superlon. Check out Superlon later, maybe end on Friday, see whether there is a follow through or not. So you got it first from the news from TradeVSA in here with SMARTRobie. All right, let's move on to our next news here. Now, next deal is MYEG. Now, some of you members may know MYEG is one of our stock pick for our portfolio, which I will going to update you. So this is the news that talk about MYEG giving up bonus issue 1-for-1, and guess what? The stocks has reacted this morning in here, and they are going into they are sort of like being an IT vendor provider, you know, all the driving license and insurance. So they are going into healthcare. It will be interesting to see how this company will pan out. They also expanded to Philippines, so we can check out the MYEG, whether there's any news here or not. So let's hit MYEG, and we go on to the news for MYEG. Right, you can see it fall 5.8% despite dividend proposal that was on March 4th, and third quarter profit was looking good, you know. So a lot of good things, but the stocks somehow not going higher. And sometimes this is kind of some things that are good. You must learn to appreciate bad news, and if there is bad news on the stocks like this, you know, stocks are down but it's holding up in here, I think when the market start to go up, this would be good too. All right, keep note of MYEG in here, and let's check out where is MYEG this morning here. Right, it gaps up and it's up 2%, reacting to the bonus news this morning in here. Will it go back and retake the old high? We shall see, everybody. All right, we shall see definitely in here. Let's move on to our next news. Now, next news is a focus on the US. Now, last night, we already said before, the Dow Jones fell 128 points because cyclical stocks, some of those consumer stocks, you know, like the retailers and food, are taking a breather, means they are slowing down. But we did have Apple moving back, and the tech stock is back. But all in all is that there is, as I said before early on, there is a US Fed chairman meeting this week in here. So they are waiting for any clues for the interest rate move. So if there is interest rate control, which means they will continue to buy more asset bond purchasing, then you will see the interest rate will come down, because the bond prices will go up, interest rate will come down. Now, like it or not, the market has priced in that the low interest regime will stay into 2023, which means very likely many of these stocks that we talk about, tech stocks, will continue to benefit from the low interest rate at least until 2023, where there will be another decision for the US FOMC to decide whether a high interest rate will be in tandem with the economic recovery so far. All right, in here. So let's move on to our next news. Let's look at the news revenue, the KLSE news this morning in here. Definitely lunch break, nothing much. FGV, AirAsia, that's right. AirAsia is the news this morning in here, item number 2, and it's green pentagon in here, positive news. AirAsia rise to the highest in a year, that's right. And guess what? We did select AirAsia on the 24th of February, almost 2 weeks ago. And that's right, knowing and having SMARTRobie will definitely put money in your pocket and definitely getting ahead of the market. And we all know SMARTRobie is all about learning to follow the smart money. That's why we are in almost 2 weeks ago before the news come out. By the time you see this kind of news, what should you do? Ladies and gentlemen, just tell me. It's time to exit, isn't it? Correct. We will look at AirAsia in the lesson learned in here. But that's kind of interesting, because I always talk about in the SMARTRobie live FB here is to teach you how SMARTRobie able to pick many of this so-called movement even before the news comes in, and then it's also important to we either take actions or do something about it in here. And very important is learn to cherish bad news. Learn to cherish bad news, and good news learn to sell, but don't be many beginner lah. They only buy when there's good news, isn't it? As I said before, in every episode of the live FB in SMARTRobie, we always talk about you being a trained investor or trained trader. If you want to be a trained trader and trader, continue to follow all our program and even join our April Masterclass intake, which we are still opening in there. We have a couple of seats inside there. That is one of your agenda to promise yourself to get more educated, get the right tools. Join us in the April intake masterclass, and definitely there's some information on the right hand side. You can find out more about it. All right, let's move on to our next news. Now, our next segment is just more of a reporting in here. All the intermediate trade ideas that we have done, KGB 56% new high, and we picked that on 6th of September. And look at item number 8 and 9. All right, that's the one we talked about. AirAsia, 24th of February, and it is up 32.4%, way compared to the news that you see on top of me here, right? Which is right now, March 15, that was 2 days ago, AirAsia rise to good. And remember, news usually on the media, on any of those printed newspapers, they tend to glamorize a lot of people. So beginner, take note, all right? For smart money, trained trader, trained investor, you know what to do inside here. And also those of you who are first time in here, do type up one, and I welcome you to our breakfast show. That's right. So let's move on to our next lesson learned. Now the lesson learned from past trade idea, definitely not all trade works. If you look back 10th of March, which we selected last week, all the property stock, it is down slightly 4%. Market don't move up in a straight line. They move up, they pull back, and that's what's happening on IJM. And AirAsia and Genting Malaysia continue on the economic recovery. And early on this month, I think some of you may have seen the show that I done Tuesday, Warren, where we picked some of the recovery stock. I think if you have bought the Warren from Macquarie, that will certainly put a lot of money in your pocket. Now, they use those products, structured products are leveraged. So AirAsia, you could have made more than 100% return if you have got in on 24th of February in here. Now, let's look at the IJM. All right, let's look at IJM this morning here. I hope you can see this. So IJM. So this was IJM. Let me take that out. That was how I measured the minus 4.8. We were at 1 hour. So we switch to our chart. So it's always important. Those of you who are active trader, you might want to upgrade to the trading view in here. And remember, the SMARTRobie charts usually are end of day. And if you are end of day, that's sufficient enough. Now let's look on the date that we talk about this stock in here, 10th of March. You can see here 10th of March, which is somewhere around here, right at 10 o'clock. Okay, so this is where we are. And what did the market felt was, as the market goes up, you can see the volume that is going up here continue to fall, and then the market suddenly turn. Then you have the step down on price and step down on volume, and that's why you got this selling. But I think it's holding up. If you look at the daily chart here, like here, this is what we call a nice pullback. You have the old support in here, and if this support were to hold and property stock continue to move higher, which we're going to take a look at it shortly, and this should do much better. We will see as the coming days to come. All right. So next stock we want to look at is in here, AirAsia. That's right. So AirAsia. Now, of course, those of you who want me to review your stock, do type it in there. And again, those of you who have given the feedback on the Google Play Store and Apple Play Store as well as feedback, you will get first priority. Okay. So in here, let's take a look at this stock that we talk about in here. Let me just turn that off. And we choose this on the what day was that? 24th of February, right? Yeah. After this line change, it took a while, but it did go up in here. So you can see on this level. So we just pull this chart here, price, and all the way to that's around 32% in here, and that the market is holding up. And again, some of you may say, is it time to buy now? Of course, if you are trained trader and a trained investor, having a plan is important. Else you'll be just buying this, buying that, and like it or not, in the long run, it's very, very difficult to make money. Do I say this makes sense or not? Let me know, all right? Whether it is difficult to make money if you're just reacting to your emotion and not having a plan, right? And if you've done that, you can see what is the percentage of upward from the green pentagon itself. 57.44%. That's right. As I said before, the economic recovery will goes up, and this to me is merely a trading shares. All right. Again, if you want to get this now, look at the trading plan and always go back. What are the lessons learned, those trade when you decide to go in, and what are the lessons that learned when you follow a plan? I think that's important. That's part and parcel of what we call education and mentoring coaching that we do for you in here. All right. Let's move on to our next case study. Now, the next case we selected, again, Genting Malaysia on the 24th of February. And those of you who have not seen that episode, you can go over to the facebook.com and also subscribe to the YouTube. So when you see the YouTube or join our Telegram session, you're able to see this. Let's look at Genting Malaysia. Okay, GMY. So you can see Genting Malaysia was on the 24th of February, which is around here. So we pick it up here, and up to here is about 10% max up in here. So right now it is still in the nice trend. Of course, having said that, what you want to do if you have followed the green pentagon, okay, follow the green pentagon, and you will be 21% in the money. That's right, in the money, and the economic recovery continue to go up. That's good. But again, try to look at the trading plan or the exit strategy, and you will do so much better. Do I want to say this make sense? If I do, give me a thumbs up, and hopefully the information that we have presented here will definitely put you in the right spot. That's right. Okay. Now let's move on to our next segment in here. Now, next segment in here is the stock trade idea for episode 46. We are already in episode 46. And 17th of March, we will be looking at MYNEWS and WCT. Now, you can see from MYNEWS, WCT, you can just use the trending stocks in here. And there you go. You can see everything's all nicely done. So let's look at MYNEWS. Okay, MYNEWS. There you go. This is definitely a very nice done. We are very, very far up there, but I'll still pick it up because it's a trending stock. But if you have gone following the green pentagon, right, and you could see, goodness, you're already 21% in the money. Interesting, isn't it? But we are picking it right now. So that will be the one. Okay. And what is the next one? Okay. WCT, next one is WCT. WCT here. WCT is the same thing. We're picking that right now. But again, if you have if you have gone in somewhere around here, the opening, and you are 15% in the money. All right, always take note that if you see it enough, it becomes so much of a second nature to that. When you see green pentagon, you think, hey, that is an opportunity. Every time when you see that, and check out the sector too. All right, so those are the lesson I want to share with you, and also the stock trade idea for today on the 17th of March in here. Let's go on to our next trade here. All right, and also an update, as I said before, in our train agenda, which is going to be training to be investing. Now, last year, using our portfolio strategy, we are able, again, this is back testing, about 106% return. Now, ask yourself, did you make close to maybe 20% in 2020 or maybe 10%? If not, why can't you do it when Pentagon portfolio strategy are able to do so for 106% return in here? This is what we always talk about, the train trader and the train agenda. If you are not doing well, what are you doing right now to ensure you meet your goal? That's very important too. And that's why we have a lot of these educational programs. Definitely one of them will be this coming Saturday. That's right. I think many of you are registered in here. You can go to the front. You can see this one in here. I will talk a bit about the value growth investing cost with Bitcoin valuation towards the end in here. But another update that I want to share with you is right now for 2021, our January to March, our portfolio, and this is using real money, okay? And it is up 9%. That's right, up 9%, which is not too bad for a 31,000. Now, I'm going to ask you again, how many of you have made up to 9% right now? I know some of you have made more, but if you compare to the KLCI, that is our comparison, the KLCI is still down minus 0.3. Now, if you need a little bit of room to improve, definitely this weekend, join us on the value growth investing. We will be talking about this Trade VSA SMARTRobie portfolio that is up 9% so far for a portfolio of 31,000 ringgit. That's right. All right. So pretty interesting. I hope you all like this, and to share with you that if you struggle and have a lot of challenges, maybe you might want to use some of our method too. All right. Now let's move on to our next story is no other than sector analysis. Let's go back to Robie chart insight. When you type sector analysis, okay, sector analysis here, right, sector analysis, and you hit that. Let me switch to a wider chart here and hit on to the Bursa chart, and you're able to see really the hot sectors. Property, construction, energy. That's what just now we picked IJM, last week, right? So as long as you have seen this weekly strength of the sector compared to KLCI, I think it's pretty much okay to hold. I think many of you also followed before how the sector works, isn't it? All right, and that's the way to do it. So let's look at the property. Just type property. Okay, property in here. And you're able to see which one. Okay, let me just take this down. So in here, you have a nice range here. SP Satir, we got EW, SP Satir. Let's take a look at SP Satir, right? It's still green. Oh, SP Satir is already green pentagon, and it's bullish rating of 90% in here. Then you got LBS, green pentagon, and you have OBI. So look for those green pentagon in here, and you can do this by selecting. So 8644. Okay, let's hit this one. Hit the number 8644 and look at the stock chart. So this is how, if you really want to get into this part in here, this one has gone a fair bit already. So let's look at another one that don't want to go so high one now. Maybe we got anything that is bearish. Okay, Molten. Let's look at Molten or Maxine. Green pentagon 82. But you get the idea, isn't it? We want to look for one that the chart setup, it's very nice. It's in green pentagon and bullish rating not too high. And you know what I mean, right? That's the way if you want to get in those summer property. And again, knowing those trade setup according to Trade VSA will certainly put you in the right spot inside here. So you can see here. Let's look at another one called LBS, okay? 5789. Let's look at the stock chart here. And you can see this one in here broken up to the 45 cent and it's holding up nicely in here. If there is another continued run in property, you'll see LBS certainly going higher. All right, that's one way to look in this market. And also don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, today there were a couple of news, so just go over to your inbox and read those inbox, and you were able to see some of this. SYM Live up 28% in 1 month, just like AirAsia we talk about. And from the green pentagon that you see inside there, right? This is how you do it. And those of you who have known and used the messengers in here, that is way we take opportunity in this market. When we see a trend, the sector is in our favor, like what I've just shown you in your sector analysis, that is the way to go forward. All right. Of course, there's other sectors. You can check it out in here. And this is the schematic, as I said before. Always kind of pay attention. No supply. If you see it in there, especially the chart on the left-hand side, any of those property stocks, finance stock, construction stock. So if you are hardworking and you're sitting down looking at the charts, just squinting it, right? That is how you want to do it with your free time. And like it or not, this is like a second income. If you have to find one of those NS trade which have very, very high probability of winning, you can possibly earn a good income for yourself. All right. So those are the ideas in here. Now let's move on to the next one is the Trade VSA tutorial. As I said before, all those who are who's our first time, you can look at no supply line change, spring test, and so forth and go on. All right. Okay, don't forget tonight there won't be any talk, but for those of you who have signed up the last 3 days for our masterclass, let me congratulate you for taking your first action to become a trader in trends. Let's give you a applaud for those of you who have signed up for our masterclass, and those of you who are thinking and been following me for some time, what is prevent you to make that move to be a trader and trend investor? Tonight, I invite you, those of you who have signed up for the masterclass revision. We are starting at 8:30, and we will get down to about 9:30, 10 o'clock. We have Fu as one of our senior coach. We have Zac, myself in here. We'll take you through to talk about some of our masterclass revision, which we will do it almost 1 month after our masterclass that we did in February. And this is a continuation program that we want to spend time with you, the coaches and myself, to train you and put you up in the right side. And also tonight we'll be touching on the US market in there, because US now they have the early the daylight saving, so we are starting a bit earlier, 9:30. That's right. So there is a lot of opportunity. Think about it, right? Whole point is there is big pond, many fishes. The question is whether you want to get that education. Join us in our masterclass April intake, and those dates are over there. All right. So, and again, we will be focusing a lot more on also Bitcoin and a little bit of introduction definitely this weekend in here. Do share SMARTRobie and get with your friends, and if they use your referral code and they download it, you get 400 credit, and 2 friends that you share, you're able to come for this nice course that we'll spend. It's a 1-day workshop, a 1-day course. We start at 10 o'clock to 4 p.m. So come in a bit, about 9:45 we'll open up, and make sure you can get in. And this is the agenda in here. Now let me just clarify, this is not a Bitcoin course. Okay, it's not a Bitcoin course. It's a course where I'll teach you how to look at growth shares versus value discount shares, and the last part, which will be around 3 o'clock, okay, we will do case study on Bitcoin valuation, which I think Bitcoin has a lot of room. Now, how many of you are bullish on Bitcoin? Okay, if you're bullish on Bitcoin, just type it in there. And I think if we are right with our valuation, I think all of us is going to make some money on the growth share as well as Bitcoin, to diversify away from where we're seen currently in the local market in here. All right. Let's move on to our next segment in here, and switching to a wider chart in here. Congratulations to LK Kwan for reviewing on the Google Play Store review, and also Yuki Haroko for your Facebook review. Thank you again. So 2 of you plus some of the older one will get a stock review. That's right, we'll get a stock review in here. So Yuki, I see your name first thing in there. Thank you, Yuki Harako. And you'll be looking at KPS. That's right, our KPS. Let me look at KPS right now. KPS. Now, Kumla Prangsan still looks good. Still green pentagon in here. Has a bit of pullback, and you have a nice spring in here. Hold on to it. Make sure you move your stop loss to ATR stop loss above, just below the ATR stop. If you do not know when I watch the video, and if you are ready to upgrade, come and join our masterclass, which is actually a Zoom session in here. Definitely a lot of benefit. And remember, the constant coaching and mentoring by our coaches and myself that will put you, Yuki, at the right spot, even to make more greater wealth in it. Think about it. All right, so that's a good one in there, Yuki. This is a nice one. Continue to hold it. Let's look on to the next. I'm looking for LK. Let me see, LK Kwan. Okay, I'll look for LK Kwan. Did any of your stocks you want me to look at? And for those of you who want to get first priority, go over to Google Play Store or Apple Play Store or Facebook at SMARTRobie. Please go over to SMARTRobie Facebook, not Martin TF on Facebook. It's on SMARTRobie Review, and the QR code is this one here. Review it, and you will get the first preference in there. All right. So let me just look for Yuki. If you have another stock you want me to review, just type it in there. I'll be happy to look at it. All right. And we have Mr. Young here. Mr. Young was one of our past, also looking at Tasco. So I'll just look at Tasco here. Tasco Berhad. Tasco is in the downtrend. I think it's broken through an ATL stop loss. So I think you need to take a bit of position off, right? And you want to wait it. Right now, the market's just going to move sideways in here. So if you have gotten out a bit here, around 126, and this is my case here, right? And if you take this to this, you could have made 36% profit. Not bad, isn't it, right? Rather than buying now and really struggling in here. All right, Mr. Young, okay, for that one. Abul, okay, and we have Yuki. Okay, want me to look at solution? That's right. Okay, Yuki Solutions. Okay, Solution again, not so good lah, going down. And if you look at the ATR stop loss, okay, let's look at solutions. Yuki, please don't buy anything that is in yellow trend zone going down. Buy that is green trend zone. And if you buying it, learn to take profit. And again, going back to the agenda, why aren't you able to do that? Did you have any proper training, any coach? And if not, do consider not only us, but there are some other people out there too, but definitely been following us. That is something good for you. Right now, solution doesn't look very good. You got a support inside there. If you do break lower than the ATR stop loss, let's type in solution here. Okay, hit that one, and let's look at the exit strategy for solution. Okay, let's hit one more time, the exit strategy. And you can see, think to exit at 1107. That will be your final stop loss, okay? 1107. It's downtrend are likely to move sideways in here. Look at MKLand and EWIT. That's what SMARTRobie is looking at. Now, we also have Richie Invest with the M Bank, but I'm not sure whether you have put it in the Google Play Store in there. If not, I will look for those, okay? Oh, you bought it before you met me. Okay, so not a problem in there. All right, so the question is, do you want to have a new change, a new challenge right from us to you? All right, do consider what I've just talked about in there. So let me see who else is in here. All right, and let me go on to more of this stocks inside there. We got that's a Rohana, Sam, Alex, Charlie, Grand Flow. Okay. Now, those of you who are, so that's all we have for today for our stock review. And those of you who want to get our first priority, you all type it in there, go over to SMARTRobie, Google Play Store, and I'll be happy to review some of the stocks that you have, because I want to, give priorities to those who have given our review on the Google Play Store and Apple Play Store, and also our Facebook in here. All right, let's move on to our final, and those of you who want to get more information about how our program works, how our stock tips works, and some of our free tutorial that we have, and also stock trading idea, do join our Trade VSA QR code that we in here. So I will see you tonight. For some of you who are our members and who just join us for our revision tonight, I think we start at 8:30, we should finish about 11:30, so I can spend more time with you guys together with my coach and also Zac in here. If not, I'll see you on Friday, and best of all, we'll spend almost a full day on Saturday. See you on Saturday. Bye bye.